So, Jim, what who's your favorite player?
Of course, Roberto.
Roberto. You have a lot of Roberto Clemente cards?
Yeah, I have a good bit. Not as much as you, though.
What do you have? What's your favorite thing?
Card-wise or story?
Either, both.
Well, my dad was a bus driver, so he used to sneak us on the bus, take us down to Ford's Field. So I got to see him play.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I never got to see him play.
Yep.
No.
Did you ever get to see him play?
Hundreds of times.
What's the greatest play you ever saw him make?
When he invented the slide into the stands to catch a foul ball, you needed the first player to do that.
Yeah?
Yes,
He used to
sir.
climb that fence, too. They had that chain link fence.
Yeah.
There are pictures of him climbing that and making catches, but there's so little footage on him.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
But the greatest catch I ever saw was Billy Burden.
Bill Verdon, the quail.
Went over to batting cage to get one. Remember how they used to park it out in left center field?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went over to batting cage to get one.
Yeah, I was only, 8 years old, I think, so.
I'm going to tell you something. Defensively, he was one of the better center fielders that ever lived.
Bill Verdon.
Yeah.
Now, Bob Skinner, you said that. What'd you say about his swing?
He supposedly had the most perfect swing in baseball. That's what Bob Prince used to say. Yeah.
Now, how'd that work out?
Well, not real well. That was better.
So, what's your favorite Clemente item?
Oh, jeez. I have to really think about that. Well,
It's hard to pick one, right?
Yeah, it is. I like the. You know what? I like that the baseball the action card where he's like with the baseball bat. And he's like he's either mad or. It's,
the
it's
1972 in action.
Yeah, in action card.
Yeah, it looks like he just.
like he's mad or.
Yeah, looks like he either just swung and missed
Yeah.
or there was a pitch he didn't like.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a unique pose.
I used to like the way he rolled his neck all the time in the batter's box, like he was always hurting. Then he'd smack the ball in his gap somewhere.
And then Richie Hebner used to do that shirt tug.
Yeah.
He was a grave digger in the off season.
I don't know if I told you my favorite Willie Mays story.
No.
Pittsburgh was playing a doubleheader in 1966, the year we got married. They played like 12 doubleheaders in 2 weeks because of all the rainouts and stuff. So San Francisco came to town. They were short outfielder because of injury. So they put their third baseman, and I can't remember his name, out in right field. And Beatles Bailey was our number one pick back in the 60s.
Beatles Bailey?
Yeah, what's his first name? They called him Beatles.
Bob? Was it Bob Bailey?
I don't remember. I told you I forget a lot of things now. But anyway, Bailey hits a pop fly to deep right, real high. This guy's backing up, and he tripped over his own feet and fell flat in his back. And the ball hit behind him, and Mays was coming over, and he just stopped and he bust out laughing. Okay, and Bailey got an inside the park home run. Yeah, Mays couldn't believe it happened. Yeah, Bob Bailey. That was his name, Bob Bailey.
Third baseman, right?
Third baseman.
Yep.
Yeah, he was our number one pick one year prior to that.
He had a pretty long career. I forget where he went when he left
wasn't
Pittsburgh.
Bad, you know.
Now my
Like a lot of first round picks, especially in baseball, aren't anything special.
Yeah.
Now my Don Hoke, who played for the Pirates.
Yeah.
My grandfather was Thomas Hoke, so they were cousins. And my uncle, when he was little, he would actually come and visit.
Yeah.
My grandpa. He brought him an autographed ball and Clemente's on it.
You're kidding me.
Well, my uncle has passed, but he always had that ball.
Well, where's that ball now?
My aunt has it.
Nice.
And when my uncle was alive, he knew I collected stuff. He goes, "You're not getting this ball." But yeah, they were cousins, and he would come and visit my grandpa during off season.
Well, Clemente is one of the rarest autographs. Yep. Number one, because he died young.
Yep.
And he didn't spend 30 years in retirement signing autographs like Mickey Mantle, for instance. And number two, there was a clubhouse guy who signed his signature better than him. And he signed most of the send-in stuff for Clemente. So most of the signatures that you see are not Clemente's signature. And you can distinguish them because the clubhouse signature, his E at the end is a perfect 6. It looks just like a 6. And Clemente did not make his E that way.
Hope was scrappy.
Scrappy?
Oh, yeah.
He came from Brooklyn, right?
Played for a bunch of teams.
He came from Brooklyn. Now, you went to school with Dick Hoke. Is he related to Don Hoke?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Dick Hoke.
Dick Hoke was quarterback on my high school team the year we won the 1956 when we won the WPIAL championship.
Now, that was Jeanette, and then they put out Pryor.
And you know,
Pryor was the number one kid coming out of high school, number one football player. And he went to Ohio. Terrell Pryor, yeah.
Went to Ohio State. He was the quarterback, too.
And then Dick Hoke.
Dick Hoke was a quarterback at Penn State. He didn't turn running back till he got to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And then he was, the running backs coach for like 30 years or something.
He just retired not too long
And he
ago.
must have been a good running backs coach, too, because we had, no matter who we plugged in there, they did well. They were 1,000-yard
And
rushers.
how about every coach you coach with?
Yeah.
You know? Unless the Rooneys had something to do with him staying.
They may have, but he must have been a good coach.
Yeah. Yeah, you know who else was in 56 played for the team we played against? I think it was Charleroi in the WPIAL. Myron Patios. He was a linebacker. He was a middle linebacker. He played in the NFL for 10 to 12 years.
Ah.
He was their star, and Hoke was ours.
Yeah.
And then we had a kid that never kicked a field goal in high school, kicked the winning field goal to win the WPIA. What the hell was his name?
That's a player under pressure right there.
Yeah, he was an offensive lineman. In those days, you know, even the Steelers, Lou was our kicker. He was a defensive end for the Steelers.
Not Lou Groza.
No.
I didn't think he played for Pittsburgh, but that's the only Lou.
Lou Michaels. Lou Michaels was the kicker for the Steelers. He was a left-footed kicker, and he was a defensive end, starting defensive end.
Yeah, back then the kicker was just an extra player, right?
You know, they found somebody that could kick the ball. It wasn't specialty like it is today.
Yeah, like they had. Do you remember? He might have been before your time. Bullet Bill Dudley.
Bullet Bill Dudley was a
Didn't
linebacker.
He was a linebacker, a running back, and a kicker, wasn't he?
They all played both ways.
Yeah.
Back then.
They all played both ways.
And the best defensive lineman you ever saw?
Oh, that's a tough one. But I saw Big Daddy, but he didn't play that many years because he died young.
Big Daddy Lipscomb.
Big Daddy Lipscomb. There was a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. You know, Green. You had,
Yeah, throw Green in there.
Minnesota had a couple. The Rams had a couple. Well, you know, that I saw personally.
They had some good defensive lines, those teams.
You know, I mean, it was...
Deacon Jones claims that he's the all-time sack leader, but they didn't keep that stat when he played.
Yeah. Deacon Jones, Rosie Greer. Yeah. The guy that ran the ball backwards for a minute.
Jim Marshall.
Alan Page. Yeah, it was Jim Marshall.
Jim Marshall.
Alan Page was a really good... Page played at Notre Dame.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and...
How was John Henry Johnson as a running back?
We drafted him, you know, in the first round. And he wouldn't sign, so he didn't play that year. And the next year he went and signed with somebody else.
Yeah, he came up with Detroit.
Yeah, but we drafted him number one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't come play. We had a trade to get him. I saw him play down in, it was probably 1959 or 1960. The Porch field was sheet ice. No one could stand up to John Henry. We won the game like 13-3 or 13-0, and he scored 2 touchdowns. But I remember I could visibly see him running down the sidelines. He must have ran for 40 or 50 yards before anybody caught him. But they were having trouble standing up on the field.
Now, the Colts had a running...
Too.
What's that?
Cold that day. Cold. That day. Oh, my.
Now, the Colts had a running back out of Penn State that was exceptional. I don't think he gets enough...
Lydell Mitchell.
Yeah.
No, before him. Well, Lydell Mitchell, too. Franco was his backup in college.
Yeah.
But he played with Raymond Berry.
Yeah. You mentioned the name, I'll know it. I know
Probably the most... He's one of the most underrated running backs in history.
Yeah, he was good. I can't remember his name. You know how many
You know who we're talking about?
Do you know how many people played in the NFL since I started watching it? How the hell am I going to remember every player's name? Huh? Jesus Christ, I've been watching football for 65 years. Longer than that.
It's funny. We'll talk about like a 1995 roster or something, and he's talking about guys from the 70s. He gets them all mixed up.
I mean, it's crazy. There's been thousands and thousands of people played. And how do you remember them all?
So I used to always say this story.
One of my favorite receivers was Benny Perrette. And he quit like when he was about 28 years old to go be a painter, and he ended up being a movie star. He was TV star. He was in a couple series, crime series, but way back when. But he was really a good wide receiver. He played for the Rams.
Yeah.
The LA Rams.
How about Lance Allworth? He was kind of ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Yeah, him and the guy at Seattle, Largent.
Yeah,
They
Steve
were
Largent.
the same kind of receiver.
Well, Steve Largent, now mind you, he played in more game seasons, but he's the one that broke Don Larson's touchdown record. And of course, he played after the Mel Blount rule.
Don Larson.
Don Hudson. Sorry, Don Hudson. I get baseball on my mind.
I saw that Don Larson World Series.
You watched
game.
that?
I watched the whole thing. One of the few things that was on TV all the time was the World Series. You know, it was probably 1953 before we even got a TV.
Yeah.
And, the only thing I ever watched on college football was Notre Dame and Ohio State. They were on the only games on every week.
Now,
them were the two big things that.
So you watched it in black and white.
Black and white's all we had.
And where'd you watch the 1960 World Series?
1960 World Series, I watched the winning home run from the auditorium in high school.
Yeah.
Maz's
walk-off.
Yeah. We didn't have buses, so I had to walk. It was uphill both ways, by the way. And you know where the school's at on the highway? Well, I had to walk up through past the rubber company and up that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a hike.
I had to walk both ways, but that's the reason I could stay. A bunch of us stayed in the auditorium and watched it because we all walked to school. They didn't even have a bus. We never had a bus.
Now, do you remember who made the last out in that perfect game in 1956? Don Larson?
Hell no.
Dale Mitchell.
Who?
Dale Mitchell.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Dale Mitchell. I never
You never heard of him?
No. That would have probably been my last guess if I had 4 million guesses.
Well, who was your favorite baseball player to watch growing up?
Oh, Clemente, no doubt. He was, because he put a show on. He could put a show on with his legs, his arm, or his bat. Yeah? Or his glove. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you get to see Mickey Mantle much?
I saw Mickey Mantle play a bunch of times, yeah. Mainly on TV, though.
Yeah.
The Yankees never came to town. Yeah.
You get to watch Hank Aaron and Willie Mays much?
I saw Hank Aaron probably more times than I saw Willie Mays. I don't know why. I just ended up at the Milwaukee game. Him and Eddie Matthews, they killed us. Ashtoff.
They had a good
I don't
team.
think I ever was at a game where Matthews didn't hit a home run.
He's one of the most underrated players in baseball history.
Yeah.
He was a great player.
I listened to every inning of the Harvey Haddix game.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being in bed with my Emerson radio, and I couldn't go to sleep because, I was waiting for it to end, and it kept going and going and going. I don't know what time in the morning it ended.
Yeah.
We had to go to school the next day.
Did you watch the game when Clemente got his 3,000th hit? No. What's amazing about that is it was...
the games weren't on like that. You couldn't get them like you can today.
Yeah.
You were stuck with whatever they put on TV.
Well, the interesting thing is it's really amazing that he was only the 11th player in history at the time to get 3,000 hits.
I saw Koufax.
That was a very rare feat.
I saw Koufax and Drysdale lose in the same day.
Did you?
I sure did. 1966 in Pittsburgh. We had a catcher. Let me see if I can remember his
Jim
name.
Paglaroni?
Yeah, Jim Paglaroni come from Boston. He won both games. One with a double and one with a triple. We won 1-2-1 and 1-3-2.
Is that right? He was a decent catcher, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a good catcher. He wasn't a great hitter, but he was a solid hitter. I mean, he hit the ball a lot.
And what do you always say about Smokey Burgess?
Oh yeah, he won the World Series for us, Smokey Burgess.
In 1960.
Yeah, because if they would have took him out and put Hal Smith in, and Hal Smith hit the 3-run homer to tie it. So he takes all the credit.
But you always say he could hit in bed.
Oh yeah, Smokey, Smokey. Well, he hit the ball all the time. Didn't always get hits, but he hit the ball all the time.
What was his name? Spanky, Mike LaValliere. He was kind of like that. He was a scrappy hitter, and he always put the bat on the ball.
Yeah.
For a catcher, he's I'd take him.
Smokey just died not too long ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Who's the best catcher you ever watched?
The best catcher.
Yeah.
Probably this kid from St. Louis.
Molina.
I mean, defensively, yeah.
Ever. Better than Johnny Bench.
I personally think Johnny Bench is overrated.
Really?
He was a good hitter.
He was a great catcher.
That's your opinion.
He had a great arm.
Yeah, that's the opinion of a lot of people. But this Molina kid is...
I always thought Molina was the best catcher in baseball. I mean, he's older now, but he was scrappy. He's a good catcher.
Yeah.
But I think the best defensive catcher I ever watched was Tony Pena. He used to put that leg straight out, and he just fired that ball from that position.
Manny wasn't bad either.
Oh, Sangin,
I got to see those guys more often than I saw the rest of them.
Manny Sangin and Vlad Guerrero may be the best two bad ball hitters that ever played. They would swing at everything.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he ended up with, what do you have, a 302 or 304 batting average lifetime swinging at those pitches.
Yeah,
And Guerrero had a 327 lifetime batting average.
My one favorite ball player of all time, though, was Ernie Banks.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bingo.
Best shortstop you ever watched?
No.
But you loved him.
No. He wasn't a great shortstop. In fact, he would have probably been a third baseman or maybe second baseman if they'd had another option, but they couldn't take his bat out of the lineup.
And that's why, for his era, and for many eras, nobody hit home runs as a shortstop like Ernie Banks. That's why he was just kind of head and shoulders. Like nowadays, all the shortstops hit home runs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a different game.
Totally
It's
different.
a different game.
Who's the best base stealer you ever saw? Ricky?
Who?
Ricky Henderson?
Warren Will.
Maury Wills.
Yeah. And Lou Brock wasn't bad either.
Well, Wills had the original record at 104.
Yeah.
When did he set that? 60? Somewhere around there, I think. How was he as a hitter and a fielder? We all know he was a great base stealer. Maury Wills.
Well, who's a hitter? You look at his lifetime batting average, you probably know it.
I don't.
I don't know all that stuff.
Not too many people talk about his hitting.
Yeah, no. He was a singles hitter.
Yeah.
You know, punch and beauty hitter, we used to call him.
Who's the best line drive hitter you ever saw?
Line drive hitter, I don't know.
Growing up, you always told me it was Tony Oliva.
Another guy.
Maybe not the best, but you always said he was a fantastic line drive hitter.
He was a good hitter. Really good hitter.
Yeah, he blew his knee out. Had he not, he had a real bad knee injury. Had he not had that, who knows?
Who was the other guy in?
He'd probably be in the Hall of
Rod
Fame.
Carew.
Oh, Rod Carew, great hitter.
Yeah, yeah.
He won something like 7 batting titles.
Yeah, Leva was a really good hitter.
Now, the guy I used to like to go watch, I used to go early, was Bill Madlock, the Mad Dog.
Yeah.
He would play Pepper with 2 bat boys, one over here and one over here. And I used to go early because I used to just think he was such a good hitter. And I'd watch him play Pepper with those bat boys, and he'd just do this before the game for like a half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. Always just working on that hand-eye coordination to both fields.
You know,
What's interesting is today all players pull the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching old film on a lot of older players, and one was Dave Parker. And for the power that he had, I could not believe how many opposite field doubles and singles he hit. He hit to all parts of the stadium. Same with Clemente. I mean, Clemente hit as many shots down the right field line as he did the left field line.
he always said it was easier to hit the ball, hit an inside pitch to right field than it was to pull.
Yeah, I mean, he always said you got to go with the pitch where it needs to be hit. And if you look at all the batting champions, all the high average hitters, your guys like going back to Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, but when you're talking about Rod Carew, Tony Gwynn, Don Mattingly in his heyday, Wade Boggs, I mean, they hit to all fields. Now the shift is popular because these guys only know how to pull the ball. And even with the shift on, they can't hit it to the opposite field. It just blows my mind. These are the best hitters in the world. And they can't slap a ball down.
Why can't they bunt it down to third base?
I don't. Well, their ego won't let them. Nobody bunts anymore. I mean, unless you're a pitcher or something. I was watching an old World Series, and Duke Snyder bunted for trying to get a base hit or a sacrifice, one or the other. He's probably trying to get a hit or move somebody over. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, can you imagine a home run hitter on a team today bunting?
No.
And watching Roy Campanella fly down first base and cover behind first. I know they do it today, but not with the passion that they used to. They would be down there every play.
And those guys made about $3 a game.
Right. Yeah. They did it for the short joy.
I remember when I was growing up, almost every ball player had a part-time job somewhere in the off season.
Yep.
And Milwaukee had a pitcher, Gene Conley, played professional basketball.
Yeah, he played for the Celtics.
And there was another pitcher that played professional basketball. He was like 6'2".
Dave DeBouchier?
Yeah, that was him.
He played for the Knicks.
Yeah, I think he played for the Cardinals too for baseball.
I'm drawing a blank. I have his baseball card, but 1965.
Yeah. My favorite storyteller was Art Donovan.
No,
yeah.
Defensive end from Baltimore.
Jim, what's your favorite sports memory?
I'd have to say I went to the Pirate game, and the Pirates were playing the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pirates won 5-4. Willie hit all the RBIs. He had two home runs and 2 doubles. They won 5-4. He had all 5 ribbies.
Was he the first guy to hit the ball out of Dodger Stadium? I know he's done it the most times.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Willie
I don't
McCovey
know.
did it, and I think Frank Howard did it. And I'm probably missing.
Chavez Ravine was the name of the stadium.
What was it?
Chavez Ravine.
That was Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that was the stadium. That's when they talk about hitting it out of the stadium. They're talking about Chavez Ravine. Yeah. That's before they moved to Dodger Stadium. Yeah, I've seen so many of them stadiums.
Who's the best second baseman you ever saw?
Well, now, who do you think I'm going to say? Defensively, it's Maz.
No, I thought he was going to say Dave Cash.
Offensively, it's Joe Morgan.
Yeah, Joe Morgan was a great second baseman.
Yeah, he was a good defensive second baseman too, but he, you know.
So you think Maz was the best defensive second baseman ever?
Well, I think. I don't know. I'm partial to Maz.
Well, he does. He did lead the league in assists at second more than any other player in history.
If ESPN was around, he'd be on it every night.
Yeah.
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 You know, and there's just not that there's not that footage that we get to watch. Like he got to see him, you know.
Yeah.
Same with Clemente. I'm so disappointed there's not more footage to watch.
Like I
and Willie Mays too. I'd love to watch him.
I love Dick Groat, but he wasn't the greatest shortstop that ever lived. But he could sure handle a bat, and he played all the plays he could get to. You know, he didn't make very many errors. When he got the ball, he played it. You know, and that's what with Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks didn't have the greatest range in the world, but he could make the plays when he got to the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't realize you were such a big Banks fan.
Oh, yeah, I loved Ernie. And Ernie was a great... I love to listen to the stories, too. And he used to say, it's a great day for two.
Yeah.
He always had a smile on his face. Same with Sangy. You never seen an interview, you know, or him talk without him smiling.
Now, I know Clemente was your favorite, but after him, who else did you like?
Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell.
Yeah, I liked Stargell too.
Yeah,
he was a good guy.
Yep.
Who's the best player you ever saw play?
Well, it would have to be. It was Clemente because I was young, but I saw him play.
Yeah. So I think Willie Mays was the best player I ever saw.
Willie Mays, best player you ever saw?
I think all around best player. Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember having all those baseball cards.
Yeah.
What'd you do with your baseball cards?
I think Burden was a better defensive center fielder than him, but not by much.
Put him in
He couldn't do any of the things Willie could do after that.
Yeah. Put them in your bikes, folks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We used to make a noise.
We used to do that too, but I never put my good ones. I'd always put it had to be a double and somebody I never heard of, and that's the only one that I would put in my bike. Because I had a Huffy, and it looked like a dirt bike, but it was a bicycle, so you had to make it sound like a dirt bike. You remember the Huffies?
Yeah.
You remember Bob Serve?
Bob Serve, yeah. I mean, I don't remember him, but I know him. I know
for
him.
Washington, what the hell was their name in those days?
The Senators.
Yeah, the Washington Senators. He broke his jaw. And I remember watching an interview with him, and he couldn't eat. So every day he ate a ground up steak, you know, in a blender. And ate it through a straw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never missed a game. Today these guys get an ingrown toenail and they're out for 2 weeks.
Now, who's the best quarterback in the old days? The best old-time quarterback you watched? Was it Unitas or Bart Starr?
I'm going to tell you a story about Unitas. In I think it was 61 or 62, I paid $7 to go to Pitt Stadium and watch Johnny Unitas play, and he never walked on a field. And to this day, I'm still pissed off. I wasted $7. $7 in 1962 was a lot of money. Okay? I had to work a whole day to clear that.
He was a 12th round draft pick by the Steelers, and they cut him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good choice. Didn't they cut Lenny Dawson, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I don't know what they were
In fact,
thinking.
I think that we traded for Lenny Dawson, or we traded Lenny Dawson. We had him for a while.
Yeah, and I think he went to Cleveland, and then they cut him too, or traded him, and that's how he ended up in Kansas City. I think it was Cleveland. Now,
I thought he came from Chicago. We got Lenny Dawson from Chicago.
we didn't draft him.
I don't think. I think we traded for him. There was a trade. He was involved in a trade in Pittsburgh.
But he was from Pittsburgh, right? Lenny Dawson. I think he was.
I don't think.
No?
I don't think. Yeah, You can't list all the. I can't remember all the quarterbacks that came from Pittsburgh, but Lenny Dawson wasn't one of them. Yeah, we look college games. I told you when I was growing up, the college games. I only watched Ohio State and Notre Dame, and whoever the hell they were playing. Because I can name you tons of guys that played at Notre Dame, and Ohio State.
That was the college team back in the day.
Yeah.
Nick Eddy was a running back. Nick Preston for Notre Dame. Eddie played for Notre Dame. Hopalong Cassidy played for Ohio State. That was one of my favorite college players, Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, tell me about Kenny Stabler.
The Snake.
The Snake.
The Snake.
Did you ever you watched him play?
Yeah.
I watched him play. I was a little kid.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was drafted by the Pirates for baseball.
Is that right?
I think so.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback, right?
Oh, yeah. Big rival there.
Yeah.
He was a good quarterback, but they played the Raiders, man. I hated the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
They had a good,
Everybody hated the Raiders.
Yeah.
Tatum. Tatum.
Jack Tatum
he was
and
before his time.
who was that other guy? Was it Gene Atkins?
Atkinson.
Atkinson.
Yeah.
Those two put a hit on. They went out. They physically, intentionally tried to kill Lynn Swann,
Yeah.
and they just would both hit him. And man, he was a tough receiver. He would get up and run right back out there. And again, before the Mel Blount rule, they would beat him up the whole way down the field. You could beat that receiver the whole way, the whole time he's running his routes.
Why did they make the Blount?
Because of Mel Blount, baby.
Yeah, he was big for the position he played in his day, and he beat them the whole way down the field. Nobody even wanted to run down.
Now, did you ever see a better cornerback than Mel Blount? Do you think he's the best that you saw? Rod Woodson? I think Rod Woodson's the best cornerback, too.
They talk about Dion all the time. I'd like to see Dion make one tackle. It'll be his first.
Well, the thing that always amazed me about Rod Woodson was his, he played the run, he blitzed, and he was a great punt returner, but he was always out of position because he was playing the run, and he would play up, and he would always make up for it.
Yeah.
And there were balls he would bat down, you thought he had no prayer of getting back and recovering from. Where Dion just covered. He took that A receiver and he just blanketed him, and that's pretty much all he did. Where Woodson did, he was more well-rounded. And to move to safety and become an all-pro like that, too, was very impressive.
I can't understand why they don't move more good corners to safety as they lose speed.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially guys that can tackle.
Well, I remember how mad you were. You told me they need to move him to safety when he had that knee injury.
Yeah.
And they gave him some insulting offer, $300 and some thousand. I think it was $326,000 or something. And pretty much forced him to leave, and he became an all-pro and on arguably one of the greatest defensive teams of all time, single-season defensive teams, in that Ravens team.
Yeah, they were good. Well, you can't knock Revis either as a cornerback.
Oh, Revis. What do they call him, the one-man island or something?
Yeah, Revis Island.
Revis Island?
Yeah, Revis Island.
Another pit boy?
But there was a lot of good... There was a lot of good defensive backs, even back in the day. Wilson from...
Larry Wilson.
Wilson.
They credit him with inventing the safety blitz.
And there was a corner or safety from Minnesota Vikings that was outstanding too.
Larry Wilson was a safety, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Obviously, if he had invented the safety blitz.
Number 8.
Number 8, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of good ball players I saw. But they didn't pay nothing in those days, and when they got a chance to make money somewhere else, they left.